Okay, so here we go. It is what is today? Friday, February 10th. And this is just a quick recap of of the stocks that I was looking at. So we'll start with SQL. The daily resistance are my red lines. This is just a trend line. Let me get rid of that. The daily resistance are my red lines, and like the my I use those red lines on the daily just to know like if this stock runs, this is a place where it's going to encounter some trouble, or that could usually be a target. So I'm just going to squeeze this down, and this is what it looked like pre-market. I like the golden areas. Are for me, the golden lines are like lines I would really like to buy. And so like I love areas that come here, boom, broke down, and then it comes back and it breaks through, and then it comes back and it bounces off of that same line. I love those areas. So I had an order for 175, and here's what I was thinking. Um, Off the pre-market, off everything that I saw, off the news. By the way, the float for SQL, the float was 3 million. It has sent. Oh, excuse me. That's Hills. The float for SQL is 4.8 million. It's done about 39 million in volume at this point, and it's 7:30 hour into the market. Which I like to catch things early in regards to their float after they rotate it, and I'm looking forward to 10x the float rotation, which will give it an opportunity to go. These are the reasons why I like these stocks, because those are where they have the best advantage. Unfortunately, this one just didn't do it. So I had to order off the open at 175, and you see it was starting to come down. Another thing that I want to show is I like to look at the VWAP sessions, because it kind of, it usually plays within this range unless it's breaking out or breaking down. As you can see right here, it's breaking down. So I was really looking for the opportunity off the open to catch this at 175, right at the bottom of the range. My target was the top of this range, which was 210, which it really could have went to 244. And at minimum, the pre-market high was up here at 230, so it could have been anywhere in that range. But my target was, I had 175 to 210 with a stop of 153. 20 gave it to 20 cents to the downside, and so essentially this just didn't work out for me, because it started to come, and then it bounced, and it went right to the target, right where I thought it would go, and then it came down, and it respected the VWAP line and bounced again. And so I was thinking like, yeah, I might still put my order in. Um, where are you at right here? This is, yeah, let me change. I'm gonna change this to green just so it's never confusing. Settings, maybe. Color, style, visibility, style. Okay, I'm gonna make this just like green, teal. Just, I don't want it to be blue. Okay. All right, here we go. So I show you that this is the VWAP line. So I thought it might hit here and get to VWAP, which was actually still 20 cents, but it came to 176, not 175. I didn't have the order in at that point. I just want to kind of, this was something that was still viable. But the reason why I didn't do it is because, and this is why I'm making this videos for myself really, is because look at this, just lower high, here was here, lower high, okay, next bounce, lower high, next bounce, look at that, lower off the one that I wanted. Might have thought it would have did it low. This was a lower high. It kind of equaled this one, but my point is, it really wasn't trying to. At this point, when it bounced here, in my mind, this, if it comes here and it's breaking below the VWAP line, this is the beginning of the breakdown. Which, even though it had a nice little bounce, I was right. Look at it; it started breaking down, and I didn't want it at that point, because it was a different deal. So that was SQL. Hills, I really like this one. Let me just get rid of this. Okay. Um, and take off the VWAP lines early. So let's just look at what it looked like pre-market, so we can always get a gauge of why I liked it. I actually like two areas. This area is an area I liked as well. This area should be gold. Um, okay, I like both of those areas. So let me pull it back so you can see. So it pulled up. Okay, this was the first little stop. I mean, first little pullback here, and then it broke through, and then it used that as a support. So I love those lines. So that was one area that I like, 188, but I didn't think it was going to get there. The next area was it pulled up here. This is where it kind of leveled out and finally broke out. And even though it didn't come all the way back here, it essentially, this is an area you can make this line can be anywhere from here. It can be up to here, like, and maybe that's probably what I should have did, because then it allows you to get in right here at 215-ish, which it came to. And then the next thing we want to do is look at the VWAP sessions. What made me hesitant was that I've often seen these things fall right down to the session line, which, truth be told, if I'm in at 215, I was going to give it 20 cents room anyway, 21 cents to be exact. So my stop would have been 215, 195. So I would have been safe. So really, this was one that I should have played, because I could have caught it here and my target was 57. So when I actually put this order in, I had it down at 210. Unfortunately, that's where I had it at 210. I had to order from 210 to 257, not to 257 to 250, because I thought I can get here. And this one, unlike SQL, which was working down, this one is working up. It's taking out the highs, and that's why I was interested in this one. When I look at this in replay, this definitely, I probably should have had the line at the high, because of all of this stuff here where it's bouncing. You can pick the spot, or if I could have put it right here, which would have been fine, that would have been adequate as well, just because this is where that candle really gets going. So it could have been any of those locations, and that's just kind of something to notate for the future. But those were the two plays, and then the last one that I looked at, it ended up doing it. But again, look at this. This was working down all morning. And the only place where you could really look at and say, "Oh, okay, I'll be willing to do it," is they had a line over here from a couple days back where it ran up and then it kind of got sideways, and then boom, it broke it, and it did all of this in post market, and in pre market it started working down. So the only area to get this was here, and my target was, of course, here, 310. I wasn't really seriously playing this one because I just felt like it was already fading. But the one thing about this one is the float was small. It's 4 million float, and it's only at 16 million in volume. So essentially, it one of the things I like about these low floaters is that, if you understand that when it maximizes the float and it starts to get going, this one just got going a little slow. Okay, but it took a while to get there, but it got there. It got to this target line, which is what I wanted, or would have been the top of the VWAP sessions, which was at 304. But I had a target of it at 310, and it hit it, and it's doing some more. And the reason why it's doing more is because it's rotated that float. It's at 16 million. It's what, 4 times the float, and I like to stay in these until they get 10 times the float. And so, or they hit my target, one or the other. So these were the three that I was looking at. In hindsight, maybe you can always make up something in hindsight, but the key is to make these videos so I can always be sharp on why I'm making, choosing the lines that I'm choosing. Excuse me. And so, it allows you to make better decisions in the end.